Our next speaker is a familiar name in the AWS community, Anton Babenko, an AWS community hero and a Terraform influencer. Anton is an active open source contributor on multiple Terraform and AWS projects. His contributions have been helping companies around the world build solutions using AWS. Today he will talk about implementing compliance in AWS with Terraform, practical steps that work. Please welcome Anton.
Hello everyone. Well, it's a pleasure to be in Hong Kong for the first time. Hope it's not going to be my last time. So yeah, let's start. I'd like to have this presentation a little bit more interactive. So if there is something not clear, I will try to have a few minutes at the end. So feel free to ask questions. And in general, I want this to be as helpful for all of you as possible. So let's start with this simple statement. I'd like to think that in most situations, compliance fails because there are not enough prevention mechanisms. We may think about this as we'd like to have more exceptions early on without thinking whether we actually need these exceptions or not. And we often have not enough discussion, not enough planning, and going straight away to the implementation. And then at some point we discover that, oh, something is not working out well, so we need to rework it. And as a result, compliance is very often an afterthought. My name is Anton Babenko. For 10 years, I've been pretty active in AWS and Terraform community. And some of you may know some open source projects which I've been doing throughout these years. And well, if you are using some of these projects, well, just raise your hand, okay? Please raise your hand if you use any of these projects. Does anyone use Terraform AWS modules? Right, yeah, good. So people are not shy. That's good. So thank you very much for being active users of my work. That's pretty much what I do. I write open source projects, then people tend to use those projects, and I continue developing this. That's what I've been doing for many years. And I also have a strong passion of learning the hard part of some solution and try to simplify it. By simplification, I mean that in 2021, it was very hard to do and to manage serverless infrastructure on AWS with Terraform. So there were certain libraries, certain solutions, but when it comes to Terraform, it was pretty hard to do. So what I did is I tried to understand how people are using it, what are the hardest part there, and then I made serverless.tf as a Terraform way of managing serverless architectures on AWS. And similar, I try to understand what kind of Terraform best practices. So there are terraformbestpractices.com. If you are learning Terraform or you don't know what is good, what is bad, and you are trying to be effective, instead of going to AI and, hey, please do this for me, please read this stuff and try to understand it so that at least you can argue with your AI. Isn't it cool that we can argue with AI and say like, no, you're wrong, and you can explain why. Similar trajectory I'm trying to do currently with the compliance because I believe that compliance in general is a pretty cool area, and currently implementing compliance with Terraform is pretty hard. I will try to explain what exactly do I mean by that, but that's one of my current projects, which is actually the main project and the only project which I'm working right now, is compliance.tf. Yes, it is a website, and I have stickers. Who likes stickers? Good. So yeah, you see, this part of the room is more active than that one. They will get stickers, you guys don't. But okay, even if you don't want sticker, you can still reach out to me on Anton Babenko and ask me questions in any way and any time. So, as I mentioned, Terraform AWS modules was started because, well, people don't have to implement common services and common patterns when it comes to configuration of more than 50 AWS services. And currently there are more than 2 billion provisions, so a lot of people use it. Yeah, once more, thanks again. So serverless.tf I mentioned already, but then let's think about what do we do now, right? If I look at this photo and I can think that, oh, my parents, when they were young, they were thinking about building future, doing some cool stuff and so on. While if we look at what we do, we are trying to figure out what is compliance framework, what are different controls, how to automate certain things. And that's a little bit too boring to look at, right? At least I believe that it's much more fun to go outside and to touch the grass and have fun. Let's have clear separation that we have some interesting stuff and some boring stuff. When it comes to boring stuff, I'd like to say that, first of all, compliance is not magic. Regardless of what you hear from different vendors and from different providers, they will say like, oh no, compliance is essential, so it has to be expensive, it's a magic, sorry I cannot explain it to you, but please pay me money and you will get compliant. Well, I tend to believe that in most cases compliance is just one more business requirement which your company has to satisfy. And put it this way, that if you are staying compliant, then it means that you take security and individual clients' trust seriously, and they can use your product eagerly. We already saw this slide. I think James presented it already, and it's pretty well known explanation by AWS. It's called the shared responsibility principle, where AWS stays responsible for the underlying infrastructure, where we as customers are responsible for everything what we put on the cloud. And this is the key component when we are going through the compliance and implementation. Also, there are many different frameworks. Some of these frameworks you may have heard. If you are in Hong Kong region, you have, or in mainland China, there are a little bit more restrictions, a little bit different rules. But most of these rules and regulations are in line with ISO 27001 when it comes to these regions, at least. In US or in other areas, there are a little bit different requirements, but most of them are about exactly the same things. They are about taking care of different encryptions, different access controls, mechanisms, login, and so on. They usually speak about the same stuff, but they may use different language. So regardless of what you are doing, if you are implementing one framework, you are more than 50% kind of implementing any other framework. So think about this, that they are very much connected between themselves. So how a typical compliance process looks like. As soon as you figure out what exactly you are going to go through, then you need to use different AWS services or different third-party services to assess your current compliance posture and to understand how much work is actually there, how much you have already done, what is remaining, and so on. I will cover some of these tools a bit later. So once you identified what's needed to be done, then you go through implementation of these required controls. And now the most important question of this talk: Who is using Terraform? Nobody. Excellent. No, come on, you're using at least, come on, don't be shy. So yeah, at least half of the room. So yeah, that's good. This was like a reality check, because if now say like, oh, what is Terraform? Then sorry, that's the wrong audience and wrong event. But yeah, that's good. So you have to implement these required controls in Terraform, and I will just explain a little bit later how you do this. And once you implement them, then you can implement different additional compliance processes like drift remediation or auto remediation, or drift detection or auto remediation. And once everything here is implemented, then you talk to auditor and send a bunch of different screenshots to them, together with Excel documents or Word documents, whatever, and say, I'm done, please check it out. So you see how you transition from infrastructure as code into screenshot. That's pretty cool, right? No, it's not. Okay, when it comes to AWS services, which you can use for this process, there are certain services which are essential right now. One is Control Tower. If you're using it, well, then keep using it. It's already doing a lot, and it will be doing even more. And of course, we have to use services like organization and service control policies to control boundaries and permissions and so on. But if you want to use something related to Terraform or to CloudFormation, there is an open source project called CloudFormation Guard by AWS. Regardless of the word, it can work with Terraform code as well, and it can do similar things like different checkers like Checkov or Trivia, Kicks, and so on. So check it out, it's an open source project. When it comes to detection, there are same services which we have been using like for throughout several years already. CloudTrail config existed and very useful to figure out what has actually happened, what kind of configuration changed, or what kind of API calls has happened. When it comes to evidence and audit, there is another service which is called AWS Audit Manager, which is not very well known, but it's there, and yeah, check it out if you want to have a way to collect your evidence of how your infrastructure evolved in S3 bucket with KMS encryption on top of it. So let's take a look into how we can implement different required controls. If we are thinking about infrastructure as code, then currently there are just these 4 tools: Checkov, Trivia, Kicks, and TerraScan. And I'd like to hear if you are using any of these tools. Please raise your hand. Like, does anyone use tools? Right, so some people use. Does anyone among those who raised hands not use Checkov? Right, so everybody use Checkov. So anyone use, can you say what you?
Integrate with the labs, highlight with the auto-scan and the Terraform.
Right, so, but it's not based on these tools, right? Is it based on Checkov or Trivia?
Based on Checkov.
Based on Checkov, right. So that's what I wanted to hear, and that's pretty much surprising to me, is that regardless of these 4 tools exist, I almost never hear from people who say like, oh, we use this project called TerraScan. Why? I really don't understand. The development of most of these tools has reduced significantly, which means that there is not enough new features, bug fixes, new services covered, and implementation in these tools. So whatever you use is based on Checkov in one way or another. So just keep in mind that if you want to implement some ways to check your infrastructure in pipeline or on development machine, look into Checkov, start using it, and most likely it will be good enough for you to go. Though, keep in mind, it has a lot of limitations and a lot of problems, so make sure to check GitHub issues very often. Like literally, I subscribe to that repository like on all notifications, and it's very important because there are a lot of challenges in that project. So once you run this tool, then you have to go through remediation steps, and you have to fix your configuration files. First, you need to understand what does certain failure means. You need to identify which module, which parameter is responsible for it, and you have to fix it. Or alternatively, you can use compliance-ready Terraform modules provided by compliance.tf. So in essence, the pipeline looks like this, where you run something on your development machine or in your pipeline on commit. Then you need to fix whatever is non-compliant by hand. Then you need to push your code back, and DevSecOps process is pretty much here. And then you need to scan your cloud resources to confirm that everything what you thought you have fixed is actually true and it is fixed. There are different tools which are very helpful in this field. And I already mentioned Checkov, which is pretty good for most situations. And well, if it works, then it's good. At least it can be a first point when you run it, and then it says, oh, something is not working, good, then at least you have to take a look on it. Then I highly recommend a tool like Prowler, which can actually go through your AWS account and check real resources which are created in your environment, and it can verify that things are configured or misconfigured, and it can do this pretty quickly, and it's also an open source tool. Well, actually all of these tools are open source. SteamPipe is another way of how you can get to query your API using SQL. There are a lot of predefined queries already published by this company, and you can write your own queries if you want. And this can be very useful mechanism to query your cloud APIs if you want to connect them. So think about this, that you can write queries which go across multiple servers to figure out whether you have access. For example, you can write a query which can check whether user A has a possibility to access account B through role C, for example. So you can write multiple joins because this is all tables, and and AI can help you with that. AI can do magic when it comes to SQL, because AI was trained pretty deeply to understand how to write SQL queries and what is the possibility there. Also, there is a project called Pre-Commit Terraform, which I started a long time ago. And now a lot of people use it to make sure that the code quality is okay and everything is documented and so on. So they run it on the local environment, and then the same checks are executed during CI/CD pipeline on each pull request or merge and so on. So yeah, that's another tool which is integrated, which can be used to run, let's say, Checkov in your environment, and then it can report as well. Drift prevention, many situations we wouldn't have if we wouldn't allow people to access AWS account from console. Isn't it cool? Like no access to AWS environment, no drift. That's a dream. Unfortunately, people want to go to AWS account, they want to click somewhere, and then as a result of ClickOps, we have some drift, which can be eliminated. There are services like config rules, as well as different conformance packs that can be executed as well for continuous verifications and even remediations, though remediations is a bit tricky to implement. When it comes to figuring out and to be reactive and implement auto remediation, often case is that there is an API call to AWS, which is logged into CloudTrail, and then from CloudTrail there will be event triggering through event bridge to SSM automation document. So if you implement these three services connected, you can implement auto remediation as well. If you are interested in different remediations for Terraform AWS modules, there is docs.compliance.tf with documentation, and it's automatically updated. Oh my God, I have 5 minutes. No, that's lie. I should have more. Okay, let's take a look. I have some. Right, you can see my screen. So what I want to show here is the following. So on the left side, you can see a Terraform AWS modules source. So this is how we typically call these modules from the Terraform registry. And if we run this code now, it will just create the bucket. And we know that our compliance requirements tell us that we need to have login enabled. Okay, so how can we enable it? We should go somewhere, like in this case, we can go to documentation, and we can go to documentation of the tool like Checkov. We can read, okay, then here they say like, oh, you need to specify this resource somewhere. So that's pretty much it. We then somehow need to transform this information into our Terraform code, which in most cases is not so straightforward because we're using modules and we don't know how to do this. So here we can go to docs compliance.tf, and for this specific check we have information. I know that you don't like to switch colors, dark, so everybody can sleep safe. Good. And here you can see that in order to apply, let's say, different framework like SOC 2 or PCI DSS and so on, you need to provide this login section here. And it's documented that valid Terraform snippet is this code snippet. Okay, so you have to specify it here. So once you specify this parameter here, then you can run Terraform apply, and obviously it will be created. What if we, if I go back, let's say, to the first slide, where I said that compliance fails because prevention is optional. Imagine the situation where we have a developer who comes to us and say like, oh, I don't want to have S3 bucket enabled or S3 bucket login enabled. But we say like, no, it's our requirement, so we need to have login enabled. To enforce this requirement, we need to use another endpoint, which is, in this case, it can be SOC 2, compliance.tf, or any other framework which is supported. And since it is part of this compliance framework requirement, there is no way for the user of this module to disable it. So user has to go to change this source module to point to SOC 2, and then if they run Terraform apply, it will try to add this login argument to the bucket. right? So in this case, these two modules are totally backward compatible. But what if we still have this developer who say like, oh, I don't care, I don't want to have login enabled. So then when this user or this developer will try to create this bucket, but don't specify login arguments here, then running Terraform apply should result in violation during the planning phase, because invalid value for the variable. And here is the explanation of what exactly happens. And this docs compliance TF is exactly the page where which I just showed. Also, very last thing which I want to show is Prowler dashboard, which I run locally, and I have configured to check this S3 bucket, and as you can see, it shows somewhere here login log. Right. So here it says fail. If I apply this code now, then this fail will be pass. And that's pretty much it. I still have 30 seconds if you have any questions. So yeah, if you don't have questions now, you can always find me somewhere. And yeah, thanks a lot for coming to my talk.